Ninth grade was whenever I first got diagnosed with it. I was going into a new school. Um, I didn't really have any friends or anything like that at the school that I was going to, and I was playing football. It was pretty much like a normal life, and then boom, just one day I was in the living room with my parents discussing my grades, and then boom, just like had a seizure.
Oh,
And
damn.
um yeah, it was a weird moment in time because going through that, I found out how many people around my community in that short amount of time that I was there got to know me, liked me, and they also supported me through that journey.
All right, hey everybody, what's going on? I am Dr. Taylor. This is another episode of Fueled by Spite. Today, with me, Mr. Lonnie Contreras. Lonnie, I did a little Facebook stalking. I'm going to give him a rundown,
Okay.
and I'm going to have you elaborate on all this stuff. So you help successful businessmen transform their physique.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
are
sir.
married.
Yes,
You
sir.
are a fitness professional.
Yes,
How many kids?
I do not have kids.
Maybe
I
later.
do not have kids. Yes, for sure. For sure.
So, happy stuff, crappy stuff. You were diagnosed with epilepsy at 15, right?
Yes, sir.
Epilepsy at 15. At 17 years old, they found out the medication you were on was giving you some liver damage. It was giving you liver damage, right? So they switched up your meds. At 18, you still weren't seizure free. At 19, you had 2 grand mal seizures really close together in front of friends and family, and everybody saw the effect of epilepsy,
Yes, sir.
if you will. At 20, you decided to start your fitness journey. And then 21, 22, you just said, I don't want these meds anymore. You just, not under the advice of your doctor or anybody else, but you're like, I don't want to live life on this medication.
Right, exactly.
And then 23, you're like, I'm also going to become a bodybuilder. That in a nutshell?
Yeah.
So you are the epileptic bodybuilder, self-proclaimed.
Yes, sir.
I'm not labeling him as that. Damn.
Yeah.
So my first thought in all this, epilepsy, seizures, and as a bodybuilder, you put weight over your head and face and body.
Exactly, essentially.
Sounds terrifying. How? Yeah, we'll do that. How do you not? This sounds incredibly ignorant. How do you not kill yourself?
Yeah, no, you know what? That's a thought that I was thinking about prior to getting into my lifting journey. But then I was also like, okay, well, I can either die with this epilepsy or I can try something, and if I die trying it, this is really me just trying to overcome this this illness or condition. Yeah, like it's something I wanted to do to kind of push myself.
Okay.
I funny enough, I didn't actually do like bench pressing a lot. I would use a lot of machines on purpose.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, like I got into bodybuilding, and bodybuilders use machines a lot.
Okay.
Free weights, like or using like a barbell for bench press and stuff like that is really good. But in my opinion, connecting with the weights using a machine, it's one, much safer for me or anybody who's has epilepsy. And then for two, they just kind of can target that one muscle instead of using like a bench press. You're using a little bit of other muscles.
Right, all the support and stabilizers and whatnot.
Exactly.
So take me to 15. So take me to the diagnosis. What?
So when I first got diagnosed with
8th grade, 9th grade, somewhere in there?
Ninth grade was whenever I first got diagnosed with it. I was going into a new school. I didn't really have any friends or anything like that at the school that I was going to, and I was playing football. It was pretty much like a normal life, and then boom, just one day I was in the living room with my parents discussing my grades, and then boom, just like had a seizure.
Oh,
And
damn.
um yeah, it was a weird moment in time because going through that, I found out how many people around my community in that short amount of time that I was there got to know me, liked me, and they also supported me through that journey.
Mm-hmm.
So having that kind of support, like whenever you wake up in the hospital and you feel like you don't have anybody or you're the only person that happened to, when you have your church, your neighbors, when I was getting lifted into like the paramedics, you know, people were like, "Go, Lonnie," like cheering me on while I was like in the paramedics. They weren't looking at me like I was a freak or anything, like, because in that moment you feel like
Alone?
I'm now different. I'm alone. This is like my parents don't have epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know that one of my family members had epilepsy until, my mother told me. It was just, you know, it's not really something that you talk about until it happens.
Yeah.
And some people don't ever get to talk about it because it never happens to them.
Right.
So yeah, then I asked the doctor, I said, "Hey, so am I gonna be able to play football? Because like my dream and my goal, I was determined
Yeah, you're a
to play."
15-year-old boy in Texas.
Yeah,
I want to play football.
exactly. I was like, I want to play football. I'm playing for this really big school that has like rich tradition, Denton Ryan High School. Like, this is the school for me to just like show them what I got.
Yeah.
And yeah, whenever I got there, it was I wanted to play quarterback. I was like, I'm gonna play quarterback. I'm really gonna go for this because the years before that, I really wasn't as confident in myself and also like my capabilities
Mm-hmm.
on the field, to be a leader, to remember all the plays, and be a leader in general. So yeah, I mean, once I got diagnosed with that, it was kind of like, I think this is over. Like, it just started.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, this is gonna ruin all of my plans to become, a football player. I want to play in college at least.
Yeah.
So the doctor told me, "Hey, you can't play football anymore. We wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not smart.
Right.
You're gonna take a lot of head trauma." And I was like, "All right, well," I like a 15-year-old, like you break down and you kind of start crying, like, okay, like what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't do anything. Football is my life, or you think it is. And when it feels like that's going to be taken away from you, you kind of just, in my opinion, like, I went for it even more.
Okay.
I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to play football still. And she let me play football.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And, that gave me a little bit more confidence to let, have somebody behind me
Mm-hmm.
and say, you can do it. You can still do it.
Yeah.
No matter what, I support you. And that meant a lot in that moment in time because I thought she was going to say no,
Right.
being a mom.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I was at whenever I was 15 and got diagnosed with that. So it was a little rough.
Uh-huh. And then I imagine just kind of being, for lack of a word, thrown into the medical model, especially with something like epilepsy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like it's not incredibly well understood, right? As far as like where the seizures come from, why you have them, why did it hit you at 15 and not 5,
right?
Things like that. And obviously just your history here. If we got, we're playing with meds, like, hey, what's the right dosage and quantity and frequency to work with? And like, oh shit, well, it turns out we're giving them liver damage, so we got to change that.
No, yeah, for real. And that's the way that it was. It kind of felt like that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to notice that as a 15-year-old, or like at that time I was about 16 years old when we were still kind of trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, okay, we're going to put you on this medication. This is what all of our epilepsy patients are on.
Yep.
So try this medication. I was like, all right, cool. I'm doing it because,
because you're the doctor and you said this works for most people.
Yeah, okay. So, if that's what they're telling me, okay, I'm going to do it. And I don't know what it was at that time with like me just kind of like being a rebellious teenager.
All
I
right.
was like, fuck these pills. I'm not going to take them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take them. The only thing that made me feel bad about not taking them was because what was I could run the possibility of having another seizure. That's going to cost my parents. That's going to cost me, like, and my parents probably aren't going to be able to sleep good at night
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I might have another seizure. But then again, like my mom is taking time out of her day to take me to the hospital. It's a whole thing.
Right.
So that's the only reason I felt bad for not taking them. But I felt like liberated, like, okay, I don't want to take these, not because they're just like the pills that the doctor prescribed and I want to be rebellious in that way. But as we came to find out, like they're causing liver damage in most patients. It wasn't necessarily me, but they were like, let's go ahead and take you off of this one and we're going to put you on this one over here. I was like, well, what's the difference between this one and this one? This one is newer?
It's a fair question.
Like, so, I mean, it was kind of like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And I asked my mom that, and basically, she's trying to communicate as best as she can, like going right into the doctor and they're like hooking stuff up to your head and like, what the hell is going on? Checking your blood pressure, treating you like a study.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like you can ask questions. So I would ask my mom basically what's going on, what do we know? Like, she gave me as much information as she knew.
Right.
And from there, I mean, I kind of just 16, 17 years old, I kind of decided like, all right, I'm getting old enough to where I don't have to do this. I can kind of make my own decision, but I have to know the consequences, if I don't do this. So, that was just that turning point that made me say, all right, I'm no longer going to take this medication. I don't want to take this medication. I ended up flushing my my medication and just not taking it at all. Because I was also taking ADD medication.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
if you had a ballpark, how many pills a day do you think you were taking? Prescribed pills a day.
So I was taking, I think it was 3 in the morning for my seizures, 1 in the morning for my ADD. That one lasted me the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I got home, I took another 3.
Okay.
So 7 pills a day.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like, compounded over time, like, I hated the ADD medicine. Whenever people say, like, oh, I love the way Adderall makes me feel, or, or whatever, kind of ADD medicine there is, I'm like, how do you like that stuff? It makes me like a zombie.
Yeah.
I don't get to be myself. And I think most ADD patients feel that way because it's just, you're not supposed to be a zombie. You're not supposed to be controlled. You know what I mean? Like,
so then what was so again, if we're just, ballparking rough math, 3 in the morning for the seizure plus 1 for the ADD, there's 4, then 3 in the afternoon. So there's 7 in a day.
Yeah.
7 days a week, 40, 7 times 7, 49. Let's just call it 50 for easy math. So 50 pills a week times 52 weeks a year. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of fucking pills.
Yeah. Seriously.
So was there an event or an impetus or just a cause? What made you decide one day, like, no, like I'm doing a different route. Because what is it here? It is 21, 22. You decided to stop.
Yeah. I think it was actually a little bit before that. I was kind of taking them like during high school. And then once I got to like 19, I was 19, 20. That's whenever I was around that time I was leaving my parents' house.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not going to bring these with me. Like, I'm leaving them here and I forgot them. And my mom was like, "Hey, you left your pills." I was like, "Oh, I already picked some up. It's okay. I can leave them over there for whenever I come back. Like if I'm gonna come stay the night or something, right?"
Yep.
So that point, I was like a turning point. Like I was like, I'm leaving this in the past, and whatever happens to me happens. If my ADD causes me to get a bad job or whatever, like I have to deal with that. I just want to be me without the pills. You know, so um, yeah, 20. Around 20, I met my girlfriend, my wife now, and we went on our fitness journey. We were like, okay, let's go to the gym for 14 days straight. Create a habit.
Good number.
Being there for 2 weeks, no rest. Sunday, we're still going.
Yep.
Going after church. So we create that habit, and then on the 15th day, we take our rest, and then it's already a habit. We want to go back to the gym. So we do that, and I start getting into like nutrition, watching people on YouTube, asking friends what they know about nutrition. The people around me at that time didn't know too much about it because I wasn't surrounding myself with the right people. So whenever I got a little bit deeper into my fitness journey, I started to, bring these people closer to me. Like I have a buddy, Tyler. He was the first person that I met that I was friends with that was a bodybuilder that I was like, I'm going to come up to this guy and ask him what he does or who he watches or like.
You just walked up to him in the gym one day.
Yeah, I just walked up to him and I said, "Hey, bro." I was like, "Do you compete?" And he was like, "Yeah, I compete." He's, done bodybuilding competitions and I hadn't done that. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, that's like the standard. That's where people want to be. And if not, like I've come to notice on my fitness journey that not everybody has to be a bodybuilder, but just being healthy is like what people want to do. They want to feel good. They want to look good. They want to perform well. But yeah, that's really what I wanted. That's like in a nutshell, like the fitness lifestyle, just being fit, looking good, feeling good, having a lot of energy, not taking pills, maybe taking supplements, but not pills.
Stuff that you decide you could take rather than are told to take.
Hey, you got to take this in order for you to survive. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Like that, or hey, you have to get on this diet in order for it to be good for your epilepsy. They told me that like I have nothing against keto diet. I've done keto diet before. I didn't feel great like the first like on the 7th day that I was doing it, but people were like, "Your body's going into ketosis. It's supposed to feel like that." I was like, "Bro, I feel like I'm about to maybe have another seizure." So I didn't know, what that was supposed to be. There was doctor prescribed. Again, they were like, "Hey, we recommend you go on a high protein, low carbohydrate, and moderate fat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You mean the keto diet?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, that's what we recommend to most of our patients." And I kind of felt like I don't want to be a patient anymore, but I'll try it, like so. Tried it for a week. Like I said, the 7th day was the hardest day because I was like, this feels weird. My body feels weird.
Right.
And it shouldn't feel like this. So I stopped. Then I went on like the carnivore diet, a bunch of meat. That was pretty cool. I like that. I saw some gains from that. But going from that to like vegan diet, vegan diet really changed my life, like in a huge way.
Okay. How so?
So I see it as like a reset, and it may not be like this for everybody, but I encourage, people to do something out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Whenever people tell me, "Oh, I have a family member that has epilepsy," or I always recommend them like, "Hey, do they Do they exercise? Are they drinking alcohol? Um, what kind of diet are they on? Like, oh, I don't know that much. Like maybe those are things that you should kind of try to control because you can't control seizures.
Right.
You can't control that, but you can control the food that they eat. You can control the amount of alcohol consumption that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, the food is, that's your gut,
Yeah.
Like, so if your gut is not feeling good, your whole body's not going to be feeling good.
Right.
So I went on, I watched this documentary. I don't know if you might have seen it, but it's on Netflix. It's called Game Changers.
Okay. Doesn't ring a bell.
So this is a documentary. It's about like vegan athletes.
Oh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's in that, and I was like, "Yo, that's the guy."
Yeah.
Like
the OG.
Yeah. So I was like, if he's eating like this, and he eats, vegan, I don't think he eats vegan. Like he eats vegetarian.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna jump in and just do vegan. So at that time, it was like perfect. Everything around me was perfect at that time. Like I just met my dad again, my biological father. I met him again and started talking with him, started talking with my grandparents. I was living with my grandparents. I was working with my dad. So I was also coaching people. And then I was also working at a gym. It seems like I was doing so much, but like I was around the right people.
Yeah.
And then I met my coach, whenever I was in the gym. He was like, "Hey bro, do you plan on, competing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm vegan though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to let you know that I'm not going to eat meat, because I guess I thought at the time all bodybuilders have to eat meat,
Yeah.
like steaks and, just be like meatheads."
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the way it was. So he, catered everything towards me. And the cool thing was I did not have a seizure once I started going vegan. Like I did not have any seizures. I was completely seizure free for that time. And then I was like, all right, let's start introducing meats because I feel like this is a huge reset.
Right.
For my
What
body.
age are we sitting at here, give or take?
We're sitting probably at about 21,
Okay.
22. Yeah. 21, 22.
And you've been vegan for how long at this point?
At that point, I was vegan for about a year.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So that was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. Watched that documentary, got inspired, met my coach. I sold all of my distractions. Like I sold my Xbox because I was like, this thing takes so much time.
Yeah.
Like I got to get rid of it. I'm not making any money from
playing Call of Duty.
Xbox. Yeah. Like I was like, I got to get rid of this thing. So
dude, that's a baller move right there.
But yeah, I sold that and I sold my account with all the games on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, whoever wants to buy this, it's got, this is how much it's valued at.
Mm-hmm.
I price everything together, but you can have it for this much money.
This is costing me more money than it's making me, so I want to get rid of it.
Took all of that money and I paid for my coach. I said, here, bro, like just whatever you say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So like I said, at that time I was working 3 jobs. Like I was working a front desk job at a gym.
Mm-hmm.
I was coaching clients, and I was also working construction.
Yeah.
So like I was doing those 3 things, and I was also bodybuilding. Like so, basically like 4 jobs. So it was a lot of my time. Everything had to be calculated. Like I couldn't make a bad move or like go somewhere and go see my family or
a little hiccup in the schedule throws off a bunch.
Dude,
a little hiccup in the diet throws off a bunch.
Yeah.
So going back to that, kind of come back around, you said that you were vegan for about a year and then you went to reintroduce meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that go?
So I didn't start with like beef first because I was doing the vegan diet, I was like, okay, if I'm going to introduce any kind of meat, it's going to be fish.
Okay.
And I chose that because it wasn't as heavy as beef. Um, and I was like, okay, I think fish, maybe salmon. I could do salmon consistently. I could eat salmon for days and not get bored of it.
Fun fact: I try salmon once a year and I hate it every time.
Really?
No, I don't know why, dude. Some about I try it once. I haven't found a way that it's prepared yet.
Yeah.
It's just apparently it's just one of those foods that my body is not meant to take in.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. Like,
No,
nothing against you. Can't do salmon.
no, you know what? My wife is the same way, and I haven't eaten salmon in a while because my wife
Because
doesn't
you're not
like
making
it.
2 dinners.
Yeah, she's like, I don't like this. I don't like the smell of it. And there's some meats that she doesn't like the
Yeah.
smell of whenever she's preparing my meals. Like, and I get it. I'm like, if you don't like cooking it or it doesn't smell good to you while you're cooking it, it's probably not good for you. I mean,
Fair.
like for you personally.
So
You know?
on the reintroduction of meat, has any seizures or anything?
No, I haven't had seizures in 4 years now. So
Okay, dude. That's cool.
it's been awesome.
So
It's-
so was it 4 years ago then that you started the vegan?
yes. So yeah, it was about 4 years ago. I did my first bodybuilding competition at the end of 2020. So and then 2021 I did another bodybuilding competition, which was a bad idea. Dude, I got blasted. Like it was so like demoralizing because I went from my first ever bodybuilding competition and I placed 5th in my class. You know, I could have placed maybe like 20th or 25th or whatever out of A, B, C, and D class, right? I did not win overall at that competition, but I felt really good because it was my first competition and I placed. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
So,
Guys, I'm just here for the experience. Oh, thanks for the medal.
yeah, exactly. I was like, I just want to be a bodybuilder because I had already done these things. Like, I've done a photo shoot saying I'm the epileptic bodybuilder and haven't done a competition. You know, I was like, I have to do a competition. I got to hire a coach.
Yeah.
I got to get somebody to help take me a little bit further out of my comfort zone because I'm already out of my comfort zone lifting weights as it is.
Yeah.
Trying to diet. I don't know what to do. But I mean, I always encourage anybody, if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going with it, or you have an idea, get close to somebody that has maybe had that same idea and just did it, like, you know, and they were like, wow, that is the way that I want to do it. You know, I want to be like that guy. I want to look like that guy, but I just don't know how to do it. So I always encourage, like, no matter what it is, it could be painting, invest in yourself, you know.
Yeah, find a good painter. Like, I mean, it sounds like you did that innately in a sense. Like, okay, I want to be a bodybuilder. Here's a documentary. Oh shit, that's what Arnold did. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
There's this dude at the gym. Hey, he looks kind of jacked.
Yeah.
You do shows? Yeah, I do shows. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
like success leaves a path.
Right. Exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
Like there's no, in the grand scheme of things, there's never really a need per se to reinvent the wheel. Just find somebody who's at where you're at or at where you want to be.
Right.
And be like, hey, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And like generally, and we kind of talked about this off camera beforehand, even just in the gym setting, in the gym culture, like the big jack dudes at, you know, Destination Dallas or like the new AR, like the jack dudes in the gym are some of the nicest, calmest, most gentle people
Really
you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
And
they
they
are.
will, dude, they'll spot you with your 10-pound dumbbells
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's like everybody starts somewhere, and those kind of people are not going to put you down because you're starting. Same thing with like a successful business owner. They're not gonna put you down because you're just starting your business. You know, like that's just kind of, it's almost like you can see yourself in those people whenever they're first starting out, and you're maybe a little bit more advanced than them, but you're never over them. You know, because there's going to be a point in time where they get to where you're at, and maybe they're trying to go to the next level.
Yeah.
They're probably going to try to do something more with it, or maybe go in a different lane and do something better with that consistency that you taught them. You know, so
Like this is brings up an interesting point. Kind of along the lines of, I'd love your take on this. Why is it that, why do you think those who are, we'll say those who are above you, not like, you know, from a socioeconomic standpoint, but just from a experience standpoint, those with more experience than you do in a niche or in a lane that you want to be in, they will rarely, if ever, look down on you. Like, they're willing to help you out. Why is it that they're willing to do that, but the people who are on your level, why do the haters come from your level? That I think that's what I'm asking. Not you, but in general,
right.
People who are doing better than you are always willing to, always willing to reach down and help you up. But those who are on your level and you're like, hey, I'm going to blast off. Why are the haters at our level?
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad question, but I think you got the.
No, I know what you're saying, and you know what, I thought about this myself, and I was like, anytime you're ever doing good, like, let's say for instance, you go to like a new job or something, and you're ambitious, you're ready to learn, you get there, and you have the guy who's like the top guy, you know, like, or one of the top guys, he's been there for a long time, says, hey man, maybe you should try this, like kind of just lifts you up. But whenever you're there and you actually are doing what they're doing and maybe doing it a little bit better, beating them consistently, they're like, oh man, this and that, you know, like, I don't know, I've never reached that point in my life, maybe, or hopefully I never do, but I don't know where that comes from, you know, like, it may already just be there. And that's the thing that you got to realize about people, is that once you become more successful than some people, there's going to be people that say, hey, I know that guy, I worked with him. And maybe you bring them up with you, you know, or there's just always going to be haters. They're always going to come from your level or lower. You know, there's always people that say stuff about my physique, you know, or, you know, like, they're going to say something. If they're not saying something, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, so
I like that. They're always going to come for your level or lower.
Yeah. It's always going to be where you're at or lower, but just remember, like, if you reach out to somebody who's successful and maybe they don't reach back out, or, you know, like, kind of figure out who's a little bit more successful than you, just a little bit, you know, or maybe where you want to be, or maybe has a lifestyle that you want, maybe dresses like, oh my gosh, this guy looks good,
right?
So he looks more successful. He may not actually be more successful, but you know, you're getting the image that you want, you know, because it's ultimately it's about the image, you know, like, there's a lot of people that are not successful, especially with the internet nowadays, that are not successful, or not as successful as you think in person, you know. So you just got to kind of pick and choose, you know, the real people that you can say, hey, like, can you help me out with this? Always be a student to life, you know, and then you'll continuously grow all the time.
That's awesome. So where can two more questions here. Someone's inspired by this. They want to start their fitness journey. Maybe three questions. One, do they have to be here in DFW, or do you do like online stuff?
No, I do online, and most of my clients are actually online.
Oh, badass. Well, that's really perfectly into this. Where do people find you?
So it could be my Instagram, Masthetics Specialist.
Okay. Spell that for the people.
MASSTHETICS Specialist. SPECIALIST.
Perfect. Yeah. And then last thing, because we touched on a whole bunch of stuff, like I told you, like, I have an outline, but we're going to get off topic. We certainly did, but I love where this went. What's something you wish I had asked you, or that you wish we had covered that we didn't?
Something that I wish you had asked me. I don't know. I like the way that the whole direction. I think the question that you asked was really good. Like, and it was a really good open question. And
It must have been in a cosmic talk for 20 minutes. That's fantastic. No, that's cool. So, like I said, check them out on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, and just Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook is going to be Lonnie Contreras. That's me. And then Twitter, I don't really get on Twitter as much. It's Aesthetic Specialist as well.
Badass, man. Hey, dude, I appreciate your time. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, like I tell you on every single episode, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. And the reason is because we make use of the knowledge in the room, right? We reach out, we ask for help. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need help. I want you to tell your story. Your story looks awesome. Your story looked awesome. The image you had on Facebook and Instagram looked awesome. I want to bring you in here and let's tell people about it. So again, guys, like, share, follow, check Lonnie out on the gram, and we'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate it. This is another episode of Fueled by Spite. We'll see you guys.